we mustn't let the sun go down our anger. So it goes the same for partners. You know, if you're in a partnership, if you have a partner in business, or if you are a marriage partner, you know, there is a need for us to always keep this reconciliation at the front of our minds. You know, we need to always be thinking peace. You know, now when we're angry, we're not thinking peace. When we get angry, we get stupid. You know, because we're in the right side of our brain and we get agitated and we're not thinking logically. And you know, that's why sometimes people say, I wasn't in my right mind when I punched this man in the face. You know, I wasn't in my right mind when I drove my car into that person. I wasn't in my right mind when I had this road rage. Well, you know, we need to be in our right minds. We need to be responsible people, and we need to know how to deal with our anger. And it's because people don't know how to deal with their anger that we have these kind of problems, and that people do get hurt through other people's stupidity while they're angry. So we need to get angry because it's a normal emotion, and sometimes that's like a warning signal for us that our boundaries are being transgressed, that, you know, our bottom line is being, you know, trampled on, and maybe we have rights too as a human being, and we shouldn't be trampled all over. So anger is something that kind of brings up that sense of justice and fair play, and you know, some of us sometimes get that out of balance. Let's be honest, that's what happens. And you know, if you're on the autistic spectrum, then sometimes you may be in the right side of your brain more than the left-hand side of your brain in emotions, and find it hard to relate to the world and relate to people, and find everything so unfair, and cause you to feel quite an injustice all the time. And then it's hard to get into the left side of your brain to work out the choices you have. So this is something we need to deal with. You know, as human beings, you know, we have these foibles and strange ways and different things that how our brains develop, and our issues and so on, and our childhood stuff. But we need to take charge of all that. We need to take responsibility and find out, how do I deal with my anger? What do I do? Be responsible with you. If your anger's out of control, well then get it under control. You know, if you're angry, you know, then if you're an angry person, you need to deal with that anger. You need to bring it under control, because people can get hurt. And you could seriously get hurt. You could end up even killing someone and end up going to prison because you haven't got your anger under control. So anger per se is not a bad thing. It's what you do with it and how you have it under control or not. And that's the situation here. That's what Paul's exhorting us to do here. And he says, he starts off by saying, put away lying and let each one of you speak truth to his neighbour. So I think in this whole area of anger, that's what we need to do. You see, if we get offended and we suddenly say, oh, that really offended me. You know, what you did just now really upset me. And the person goes, oh, I didn't realise that. Well, I'm really sorry. And then it's diffused and it's gone. But you know what often happens is that somebody gets offended and they won't say anything, you know, because I've got to be Christian and I can't, you know, be seen to be not at peace. I can't be seen to be anything less than charitable. I must be very gracious while I'm in church. I've got to keep my mask on while I'm in church. And even in the community, you know, as a Christian, he's supposed to be a Christian. She's supposed to be a Christian. Did you see the way they went on? It's supposed to be a Christian. And we have that attitude about being Christian, don't we? That we have to kind of keep this status quo of being gentle Jesus, meek and mild, you know? But inside, we're a seething cauldron, you know? And so something offends us. Instead of saying, you know what, hang on a minute, that really upset me now. Why are you saying that? Why are you doing that? Can we talk about this? Because I don't want to feel that way towards you. So, can you help me? Because I really don't want to be feeling this way towards you. Can we try and resolve this? You know, before it gets out of hand. Let's talk about it. And suddenly you've resolved the situation long before it gets out of hand. But what often happens is that the offence takes place. You don't say anything because you're angry, so you don't want to explode over someone, and you're not used to controlling your anger, so you don't know how to deal with it. You don't know how to confront someone, even though you're angry. And so you go away festering. you go away like a little volcano. Yeah? And it's eating away at you. And of course, the next week you come back and you haven't resolved it, and someone says something else to you, and you really, really get upset. And of course, it's not really under control. It would only be under control if you can express it healthily and work with it. And okay, there are times to say something and there are times not to say something. You know, if you get angry with me because I say something when I'm preaching, don't say something. Say amen if you're really supporting me, but talk to me afterwards. So there are times, aren't there? You know, in all seriousness, there are times. You know, we have to sometimes choose our moment. You know, it's not always good to confront someone. It's the same as like if you're in a relationship and you have children. This is a classic. And mum gets upset with something dad says in front of the children, or mum says something that upsets dad in front of the children. That is not the time to have a full-scale row. That is not the time to undermine the other person by disagreeing with them and then telling the children something else. But it's okay for the children to know that you can resolve arguments and you can deal with anger nicely, or maybe not nicely, but certainly in a healthy way, by one parent saying to the other parent, well, you know, I don't actually agree with that, and to be honest, that's offended me, I'm a bit upset about that, I'll talk to you about it later. Now, the children know something different, rather than it all being just, you know, brushed under the carpet, the husband or the wife storms out. Oh dear, there's a volcano brewing, you know? What kind of message does that give to kids? What message does that give to our children to say, you know, oh, you don't deal with stuff, you go off in a huff. Or you use passive aggression, you get your own back later. Oh, mum will get her own back later with dad. Yeah, don't you worry. Or dad will get his own back with mum, he'll be a bit funny with her later. No, that's not right, is it? So, dealing with our anger, if you've lived in a family like that, I think most of us have got one parent that might have been a bit, some way, like it. We all have these issues, don't we? You may have had a wonderful parentage, that's great. But somebody around you would have been like it. Maybe someone else in the family, maybe one of your siblings could be like that, a huffy puffy, or you know, a bit of a volcano. Yeah. I was going to tell you a funny story about my childhood, but I won't. But seriously, we have to work at expressing our anger in a healthy way, and that's all Paul is saying here. Because what happens is, it says here, nor give place to the devil. Well, there you go. That's what happens. You see, when we are not acting right as Christians, when we're not openly expressing our anger and being truthful and speaking the truth to one another and saying, I'm really upset. And it's not just a case of I'm really upset and I'm going now. It's I'm really upset, I want to sort this out. Not I'm really upset, I'm going to go in a huff. But you need to know I'm upset. No, it's not like that. It's about sorting out.